there is a new boss in town at Gray's at Station 19, and no one can quite figure him out. I can't figure him out. The rest of the firefighters can't figure him out. What's going to happen because he's controlling? But is he? Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I feel like this is like the perfect song,
for
right?
this episode. Yes.
Yeah, because I think the captain is going to really expect a lot of that.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I don't know if he's going to get it.
Probably not.
I know. Guys, welcome back. Station 19 After Show. I'm one of your hosts, Linda Antwi, and I have my beautiful co-host.
I'm Karla Contreras. So excited to be here with
Yes,
you.
welcome, Karla. I'm
Thank
so happy
you.
to have you. So, your overall thoughts of the crossover event?
Not as much of a crossover as I thought. I thought it was less emotional than other episodes. Nonetheless, still emotional.
Yeah.
And shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. And a lot of tension.
I agree with you. I thought it was way less crossover, too. I did watch the Grays before this, and we only really had a couple of Grays people on
like
the
two
Station
doctors.
19, so I was a little surprised because they were, like, hyping it up so much, but I still loved it because
Yeah.
I love both shows. So let's just jump into it a little bit. I'm going to give a little bit of background for those of you that didn't watch Grays. So it opens with Miranda and Andy at the beginning of Grays, and they are coming in off of a fire. And a lady, Natalie, has like a heart issue. Something's wrong with her. So they roll her in, and Miranda finds Max hiding in the ambulance. And so she's like,
What are you doing
yeah,
here?
what's going on? Are you scared? Okay, come with me, right? So they kind of bond that way. And fast forward, they call the husband, Evan, over. And basically between Miranda and Maggie, they realize that this woman's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the dad doesn't want to tell Max. And
He's
Max,
young.
yeah, he's young. He's 10. But he's also really smart, and he likes to know things, and his mom knows that he likes to know things so that he doesn't get scared. Long story short, he runs away because he feels everyone's lying to him. Dad's lying to him, and DeLuca had him up on the roof, and DeLuca was like trying to tell a story and to be helpful, but it turns out it scared him even more.
Backfired.
It really did
100%.
backfire. So he runs away, and then we get into Station 19.
19, yes.
So we get into Station 19, and everyone is looking for Max. He's missing. So we have Andy looking for him. We have Dean looking for him. We have the whole fire.
The dad.
The dad. Yep. We have the whole police department looking for him. And I was like, first of all, I get that he's only 10. He's a little kid, and he's
Yeah.
scared. But like, why run away? You know what I mean? Like,
Without
go hide.
guardians,
Yeah.
without adults, you're a little one. Something's gonna happen to you
Yeah.
without supervision.
And lo and behold, something does happen. So he runs away, and then we see that Ryan from the police force, he finds him.
Yes.
And this is the part that I didn't get. So he finds him, and like he's a police officer, and then Max starts running away from him.
I was like, didn't anyone teach you to look? You're supposed to look both ways in the middle of the road, running full force.
Full force.
Full force in an open road.
Right, and then the cones there and the big like construction.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is gonna be all types of wrong. But
So many red flags.
so many that I guess he was so
Emotional,
emotional
probably.
that
Yeah.
he didn't see them, and lo and behold, he falls into the
Pothole or the
pothole or the water line pipe.
Yeah.
So that's the setup. That's where we are. So everything is kind of chaotic, and then they're now trying to rescue Max. So let's first talk about Dean and Maggie.
Dean and Maggie.
Yeah. So Dean and Maggie in Grays.
Yes, Dr.
Dean,
Pierce.
Yeah. Dean really likes her.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He wants to ask her out, and he thinks she's this strong, beautiful, smart woman. So he's waiting around at the hospital to try to run into her, right? And making any type of excuse to try to see her. And he finally gets to ask her out, and it's super awkward.
Very awkward.
And she kind of doesn't answer him. She's like, oh, I used to have an ex-fiance that was named Dean, and then she gets called into an emergency, and it was awkward to see Dean act like so giddy,
Yeah.
and also almost nervous, and then see Andy see his reaction like, wow, you have no game.
None whatsoever.
Like-
He usually gets his girls by rescuing them.
Yeah.
So, and she's a doctor. He's probably intimidated by her.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
be surprised. Yeah.
And I was so glad that on Station 19 they answered my question, because I was like, what happened to JJ?
She just disappeared.
I was like, all of a sudden you guys aren't hot and heavy, and now you're going after Maggie? Like, what
Yeah.
happened? I still want a little bit of a backstory. Like, how'd you guys break up? What happened?
The last thing you heard of JJ was him ignoring her phone call, and that was the last we heard of JJ. Yeah.
And I can't remember last season. And guys, if you guys remember, definitely hit us up in the comments. But she did something that offended him, and he was done.
Did she?
I think so. That's why he stopped. He stopped taking her calls.
I think the problem was she was too clingy. And he's a busy man. When you're with someone that has their life together, you have to understand.
Yeah.
You can't be like, take these off, stay
Yeah.
with me. You have to let them go. You have to let them do their thing. So I
Yeah.
just think she was a little much. And it
Yeah.
was really hot and heavy, like off the bat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So then we see Maggie and DeLuca on site. They're
Yes.
doing everything they can do to help. But fast forward, after everything gets settled, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, Maggie finally comes up to Dean and is like, okay, I know I kind of didn't answer your question. And he already knew that she had a boyfriend. But I love that he stepped his game up in that moment and was like, listen, I'm just right down the street, 3 blocks away. If your situation ever changes, I make a mean margarita. And I was like, oh.
He got his swag in there. He got his confidence up. He did. He had to.
Yeah, and I loved it. And he handled it really well. And I could see Maggie, like, thinking in the back of her mind, like, oh, maybe.
Maybe I'll call you. Maybe I
Right.
don't have a boyfriend.
Right. And he's gone right now, so maybe she doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Meredith, Andy, Maggie, and Amelia. And I only bring this up because I thought it was interesting that they're all really strong, powerful women, and they're all single.
Yes.
And Meredith went on her first date, and the date seemed to have gone well until the end, where the guy said something that she didn't like and all of that. So she comes back to the hospital, and it was just funny watching their all interactions because they're all in different phases of their relationships. Like, Meredith is single, coming out on her first date. And then you have Andy, who we know is a hot mess, right? With her love triangle, not triangle, breaking up with both guys, doesn't know what she wants, that whole thing. She's a mess. And then you have Maggie, who has a boyfriend who's taken off on her. She's not sure when he's coming back. And then you have Amelia, who's in this situationship where she's back together, but not back together with her ex, and they're raising kids together, but they're kind of not. So
Complicated.
it's all complicated. But then you have all these women that are like, they're together in their careers, but in their relationships, they're kind of just all over the place.
Which tends to happens a lot. When you're a busy girl, it's hard to nurture relationships.
It
and
is.
relationships take nurturing.
It really is, and we see it a lot through them. Let's talk about Captain Sullivan. What is your opinion of him so far?
He's hot.
Well,
Number one.
Yes.
He's very stern, though. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what's hard is that Station 19, they're a family.
Yep.
He's not about the family.
At all.
Doesn't care about their names.
Nope.
Doesn't care to eat dinner with them, lunch, breakfast.
Yep.
He's just not about it. He's to the buck, wants everyone to respect him. And it's just, I think it's hard. It's hard for him to mesh into their bond. And I don't
Yeah.
think he gets that.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised how strict he's being, and I get that that's his personality and the way he wants to run things, but you would think he would come in and kind of feel out the station first and then say, hey, this is who I am and this is how I do things, but he's just like laying down the law.
He doesn't care what they think about him. He
At
doesn't.
all.
Nope.
He doesn't want to talk to them. He doesn't care about, he just thinks he knows this is what I'm going to do. And when he does that midday lineup and he's like picking at them,
The button.
the button, and then when he benched Ben and
Yeah.
said like you're an asset, but between burning your hand and leaving your coworker, you're not an asset, so
Yeah.
you're going to be benched.
You're
I
staying
was
back.
like, wow, he's not messing around.
He's not.
He's not messing around at all, and I wonder how that's going to shake up the whole firehouse, because I think Pruitt,
Yes.
so the original captain who is Andy's dad, I think that he had a lot to do with how Captain Sullivan got there. I think he thought, I'm not going to choose Andy. I'm not going to choose Jack. I'm going to choose this guy who's an outsider who's going to kind of bring stability and maybe structure. But he didn't realize that this guy has his own plans.
I think he's regretting it now.
And even he's on the chopping block.
Yep. He thinks he's coming back.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, this guy's not supporting it whatsoever. Captain Sullivan's like, happy retirement.
Bye.
Right. And
Yeah.
so now I think that in his mind, I think Pruitt is a little scared. Like, he's mad, but I also think he's a little scared because I think that he thinks that I didn't work this hard to fight cancer and beat cancer to not come back to my job.
I mean, it's kind of his own fault, though. I mean, it backfired. It backfired.
Absolutely his fault.
He was trying to do the best thing possible, but no.
But that's the thing. I don't even know if he was trying to do the best thing. I think he just didn't want to. I have to pick between Andy or Jack. I think he didn't want to have to do that.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Do you know what I mean?
And there was like a weird like love interest. That wouldn't have been good either. Either one of them were not a good candidate, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, okay. I thought that I mean, I have an opinion. I think that Jack would have been a great captain. I think Eddie would have been a great captain too, but I think that you just reminded me when he was making that decision, he had just found out that they were messing around.
Recently.
So he was definitely maybe acting out of spite and anger too. And now it's all backfired in his face because we have this really stern captain that no one can kind of figure out.
Exactly. I mean, maybe Bishop.
Maybe.
That's his favorite.
So far.
So far, yes.
Yeah. So speaking of Bishop, we see that on site and in this emergency that she is his favorite and he wants her to take lead. And it doesn't sit well with Andy.
She's used to being in control.
In control. She's used to being the star.
Exactly.
She's used to calling the shots. And everyone really listening to her, running the station like as if she was the captain. And he was basically like, you're going to take several seats.
Drive this truck.
Drive this truck, right? Speaking Spanish and talking crap to her dad.
That was the best
about
advice,
him, right? And in my mind, I was like, ooh, he speaks Spanish.
You knew from the get-go.
I was like, ooh, this is not going to bode well. But he held it in for a little bit. And then, like always, she breaks the rules. So she's not harnessed in, and we see that Maya's all ready to go. And she just jumps in, and despite Maya, she thinks she's got this. And she doesn't got it. And if you think about it, they only had one other chance to save this kid, and she almost ruined it because she was being selfish and thinking like she was going to be the big star. Because she always wants to be the big star. Don't you think?
I think she always wants to shine. She always wants to be in control. And she has a hard time taking the back seat.
Yep.
And she lets her emotions get the best of her.
That's true, too.
It's like you need to relax. You need to listen and just chill for a second.
And you have to remember you're part of a team.
Exactly.
You know, you're part of a team, and you guys put your lives on the line all the time. So it can't just be about you being the superstar. It has to be about more than that.
Yeah, and I think Bishop's getting a little salty about it.
Yeah.
It's hurting her feelings. She wants to shine too.
But do you notice that? And all her authority figures, she rubs them the wrong way in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
even with the other captain and the chief, she had problems with them last season, and I can already see the problem starting this season as well. And even when her dad was in charge, she butted heads with him a lot because she really wanted to shine all the time.
She just doesn't listen. She doesn't follow the rules.
Yeah, and I also think she thinks she has more to prove.
Yes. Maybe because she's a woman.
And also because she's the captain's daughter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's part of it. Let's talk about Grant and Montgomery. I love these two together.
Oh, I love Grant. He's a sweet.
him.
We all need a Grant.
Yes, we all do need a Grant for sure. We see that he nursed Montgomery back to health, and he's really being protective. And I can get that because you're in this new relationship, and then you almost lose this person that you're starting to have a lot of feelings for, and you probably bonded more over the tragedy.
Yeah.
And then now that Montgomery is feeling better and he wants to go back to work, it's scary for Grant because Grant is scared that he's going to lose his firefighter boyfriend.
But he knew that coming into it. Montgomery warned him. He told him, look, I've done this before. I've dated someone that was in the same career as I am. There's a lot to risk. But he knew.
He did know, but it's different when someone says, "Hey, this is what I do, and it's a risky job," than actually having something happen.
That's true,
And
yeah.
then not knowing if they're going to make it or not, and then having to nurse them back to health for like a month and a half.
Yeah, so, yeah, about 6 weeks
Yeah.
or so.
So,
I mean, if he doesn't let him go back, though, I feel like Montgomery would be resentful. Because it's what he loves to do.
yeah. And we see that in this episode where he was only supposed to go in, and he comes in with the donuts, and he interrupts the midday lineup. And he also notices that everything is different.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a casual vibe there anymore. Maybe no one, structure. And he was only supposed to spend an hour, and he spends the whole day behind the scenes helping to rescue Max.
Yeah.
And realizing that this is where I want to be. So I don't want to be away or ask for extra time and be away longer. I want to actually come back sooner.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
And Grant was so disappointed.
Yeah.
So scared. I almost feel bad for him, but I'm like, oh my God.
I felt bad for him because you could see he was like angry, but you knew that anger was coming from a place of fear.
Yeah, like good place. You can't blame him.
Yeah. And then when Montgomery like just grabbed him and kissed him, it's like, let's go home. I was like, aw, see, you just like, you gotta.
It's all out of love.
Yeah.
It's all out of love.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't stop Montgomery from doing what he wants to do. And even then, like, he was nowhere on the scene. Mm-hmm. He was at the station helping, and he did help. So it's like he can do other things.
Yeah, I mean, he can be like Ben and be at the front desk, right?
I don't think it's what he wants, but yeah, for now at least.
For now, at least. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Andy and Maya's friendship. Where you think it's going from here? So I think that you see both Andy and Maya are both strong firefighters, and they're like best friends.
Yeah.
And we see in this episode where Maya needs to not only stand on her own 2 feet, meaning that she wants to move out of her house, but we also see that she wants to be the star all the time.
Yes.
And Maya, I think,
Andy wants to move out of the house.
Yeah, I'm saying the wrong person.
Yes.
It's all correct. So let's just backtrack. Excuse me. So Andy wants to be the star. Andy wants to move out, and Maya is like, obviously you're gonna move in with me. I'm surprised you didn't ask. I'm a little offended, right? Because they're best friends. And then what we see in their work day, though, is that Maya's elevated by the captain, and Andy's kind of put down a little bit. And so I feel like that makes an interesting dynamic for the friendship.
A lot of tension, because I think Andy's used to being on top, and it's the position she's used to, and now that's being compromised and threatened, and I don't think she doesn't like it. Yeah. And Maya wants that position. Yeah. She wants to shine too. She wants to be a lieutenant. Yeah. I feel like that all started last season when Ripley encouraged her.
Oh, it totally did.
So I can see that being a big problem for their friendship.
And I think it might break them, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but in this episode, I almost feel like Maya jumping in to try to save Max, knowing that, see, why do I keep doing that, Andy?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep calling her Maya, because I think that Maya is like awesome, and I think that Andy's awesome too. So anyways, so when Andy jumps in, it steals her thunder.
Yeah.
It steals her thunder, and she was really not only hurt by it, she was mad, because I think she realizes this is something that Andy does all the time.
Yeah, like she won't let her win, and I think it's unfortunate because Maya's always cheering her on, regardless of anything. She's always trying to give her the best advice, trying to push her to be her best, and then their Andy is just trying to kind of like, be above her, and it's not. You have to let your friends win.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough for both of them.
Exactly.
But then you saw it too in the locker room at the end, when Maya got mad at Andy, when Andy just started making it about herself again and saying, you know what, you're right. There was some weirdness with Ryan, and there was some weirdness with Jack, and I don't know why I do that. Right? She was just talking as if it's about me again, not even noticing at first that Maya was really upset. And then when she's like, well, you're acting weird right now too. And she had a right. Like, your friend is not allowing you to blossom, and I think that she doesn't want to be in the shadows anymore.
I think so too. And I think she's been doing this for a while, for a long time. And I think Maya's getting over it. And there's only 2 girls, so they're each other's competition. Yeah. It's gonna blow up, I think.
That's gotta be hard to be in competition with someone who's also your best friend.
Definitely, because no one likes to lose.
Yeah, it's awful. Let's talk about Ryan and Jack. So both of Andy's exes are on the site, and on scene, and they are really just kind of going at it at first. And I thought it was funny that Jack was like, don't worry about this awkwardness, because we had some awkwardness, me and Andy, before, but it passes. And Ryan got like super defensive, and he's like, there's no awkwardness. And then with the plan and how they were all trying to like figure out how are they going to save Max, and they kept bumping heads, I was like, oh, you two haven't squashed the beef yet.
They're still competing.
Yeah, for someone who dumped both of them.
She doesn't want either of you.
Right.
And they're still going at it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny when Gibson, Jack, made the comment, like, life's too short to be petty. You're being petty.
Right now, in this moment.
Exactly. By giving him advice about his ex-girl, who's also your ex-girl, you're being petty.
Yeah, for sure.
Petty boots.
And it's funny because it's like, oh, these two are never going to be friends, but guess what? You're going to be working together on a regular, so you guys are going to have to figure it out somehow, some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Or get over Andy. One or the other.
Right. I mean, something's got to happen. What do you think about Pruitt? Do you think that Pruitt's going to be able to make his way back?
I think his time's up.
Yeah.
I don't think he physically has what it takes anymore to be a captain.
Okay.
I mean, he got sick. He got really sick. I'm sure his body's compromised. I'm sure he just, let's say worst case scenario, he gets sick again. Mm-hmm. It's too much to risk, I think, for him to come back. And Sullivan, he's got it handled. And I think that's what Ripley wanted. He wanted someone strict. He saw what was going on in Station 19. He was like, nope. No one here follows rules.
Oh, I feel like it's going to just be really, really bad for them all, but we'll see. What I thought was interesting is that this is the first episode, guys, of this season where I didn't get super emotional.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, I was like, there were some emotional moments, but usually I'm on a crazy roller coaster with all these episodes, and this was the first time I was like, oh, there's some nice moments, but I'm not gonna like be all in my feelings. So that was really refreshing for me.
It was like halfway through the show, and I was like, wait, I haven't like teared up yet. What's going on here? Yeah. Is this normal?
Right. But the moment with Evan and Max, where Evan finally comes clean to him, I thought that was a really special moment.
That was beautiful. Well, it was and it wasn't. No one wants to lose their mom. I felt for him.
Yeah, but it was special that he was actually being honest for a change.
Yeah.
Because that's who his son is. His son needs the honesty and directness and needs to know what's going on. And in that moment, he got saved. And I was just like, oh.
When he compared him to his mom, he's like, you're brave just like your mom. I was like, oh my God, just hold on to it.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was beautiful.
I was like, thank you, Stacey, for not really getting me all the way there. This is just enough, right?
You're like, I'm not actually crying.
Yeah, not at all. So yeah, it was a great episode. I do think that I would have loved to seen more of a crossover, an actual crossover. I know on the Gray side we did see Miranda and Ben and not a lot though. DeLuca and Maggie.
Much of a crossover.
Yeah.
Because when you've seen them do crossovers before, like with Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and it's like a serious crossover. Yeah. This one was very, very minimal. Even the doctors didn't really play much of a role.
Yeah. But I did hear, and I think that we talked about it last week, that they're going to be doing various crossovers. So maybe this is just the beginning, like let's wet our feet a little bit, because we're going to have a lot of crossovers this season.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because I was like, okay, everything they do is with a purpose.
Yeah.
This was small, but it'll build up.
Yeah,
they never disappoint.
Yeah, they're laying the foundation down. I totally agree with you 100%. Let's jump into some news and gossip.
Yay.
There's a lot of actually news, which I think is great. So the first thing I wanted to talk about news and gossip is Boris, who is Captain Sullivan, has been promoted to a series regular. So he's going to be on for some time now.
Just so I want to see on screen all the time.
Because he's beautiful. He's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh, and then, so on the screen right here, we have DeLuca, and we also have Captain Sullivan. And I just thought it was a funny photo because here you see there's no rain, but he's like holding the umbrella, protecting him from the sun.
So cute.
Really, really cute. And then the next one we see Dean, and we see DeLuca, and we see Vic on the back of the truck. So they're teasing the crossover event here.
Ooh, so there is more to come.
There is. So Maya, who is Danielle Severa, covered Retreat magazine and talked about body positivity and loving yourself, and that we all need to do more of that. And she dishes that this season we'll be able to see more of Andy and Maya's friendship and how they came to be and where their friendship is going. Gorgeous. Isn't she gorgeous?
So beautiful.
And then she said we'll explore her past, why she stopped running and why she became a firefighter, and when she found out she was bisexual. So we're really going to be digging into her past. We're really going to be digging into her relationship, which I saw a little bit in this episode between her and Maya. And I'm wondering, too, I'll save it for predictions, but we see that these two not only have history and tension, and they're both striving to, like, get to the top of their careers, but there's gonna be some issues. And so I'm glad that she's going to explore. I'm glad that they're going to explore it.
We need answers.
Yes. I love this photo. DeLuca and Maggie and Jack from the crossover. And I just think that in our comment sections, which I probably should do some shout outs too, but we had a fan that said they could see DeLuca and Maggie getting back together.
You think so?
That's what they think.
Interesting prediction.
Yeah. So I want to give a few shout outs real quick. So Kaylin, Norton, Mel, Fabia, T. Kentz, Gemini 3, and Tony Robinson. Thank you so much for just shouting out and
thank you.
And commenting. And last week I didn't see, and you guys really corrected me, I didn't see what the time lapse was.
Yes, it was a little much confusing.
Yeah, and it was 6 weeks, and you guys helped us figure us out, so I appreciate it. Please do keep the comments coming. And in saying that, hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channels, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you and will help AfterBuzz grow or continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit the subscribe button now for this channel, and then check out other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did, and we'll thank you in the comments, and we'll thank you on air like we just did.
A little shout out.
Yes. So for now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. We love you guys. We're on Spotify. We are also on iTunes. So
check us out.
Yeah, give us a 5-star rating, comment, like, do all the good stuff. Yay!
Amazing.
And then this is a little fun segment we do called Fire Facts. So here we learn about fire. Oh, I love that. Fire.
Makes me feel at home.
So fire is an event. It's not a thing, which I just literally learned today. Heating wood or other fuel releases volatile vapors that can rapidly combust with oxygen in the air. The resultant incandescent bloom of gas further heats the fuel, releasing more vapors and perpetuating the cycle. So fire is an event, and it needs the oxygen and whatever it is that's burning to allow it to continue to go. The second thing is, Earth is the only known planet where fire can burn. Everywhere else, there's not enough oxygen.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And fires can stimulate growth and are an important part of the ecological process.
Yes.
And I know that there are fires out there that are
massive.
Yes. So it's sometimes hard to think like, oh, this can actually even help and simulate, but it can. I have a question for you.
Yes.
So why do you think fire hydrants are different colors?
To stand out, don't park near them, don't get a parking ticket.
Right, all of that. Those things are true. It's actually to allow firefighters to quickly identify the flow rates of any fire hydrant. Oh. So that's why when you see some that are yellow or red, it tells them right away which one, what flow rate they have.
Oh, I did not know. Interesting. Yeah.
And the last fire fact for today is another question: which is correct? Smokey the Bear or Smokey Bear?
Smokey the Bear.
I thought that too.
Am I wrong?
We're wrong, guys. We're wrong.
Oh my God.
So, in 1952, a song was written about Smokey. In order to maintain the correct rhythm, the writers added the between Smokey and Bear, but his actual name is Smokey Bear, and he's a black bear.
He's not a brown bear.
No.
Oh my God, I've been lied to. My whole life.
My whole life
is a lie.
It's a lie. So those are our fire facts for today. Guys, if you have any fire facts, definitely hit us up in the comments. I'd love to share them. Let's do some news or some predictions.
Okay, so my predictions. I have 2, actually.
Your AfterBuzz TV
Love it. So I think there's a possible Maya Sullivan romance.
With
Maya
and Sullivan?
Yeah. He clearly
Really?
likes her right off the bat.
Okay.
You've seen the previews that they bump heads.
Okay.
But that makes for a good, intimate love
Okay,
story.
okay.
He chose her for a reason.
Okay.
I wonder what it is.
All right.
I think that, and like we've said many times, I think Andy and Maya, that's going to blow up. And I think it's going to blow up quick.
Yeah, I agree. So that's one of my predictions. I think Andy and Maya's relationship is going to get tested, and I don't think it's going to survive. And I think that even with Andy trying to move in with Maya, I think Maya's going to rescind that invitation immediately because I don't think she's over what happened this episode.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So Andy telling her dad in this episode that she's moving in with Maya, I don't think it's going to happen.
You're not going anywhere, honey.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see a lot more of Grant and Montgomery in their relationship, and I think that Grant is going to maybe hold Montgomery back a little bit and make him question whether he wants to be a firefighter or can be a firefighter. And I also think, too, because Montgomery lost his husband in a fire, that he's going to suffer from some PTSD when he goes back to work. I think that Pruitt, Andy's dad, is going to have a hard time with her wanting to leave. I think he feels abandoned by his station. He feels abandoned by his daughter. And I think it's going to make him act up in some way, and I'm not sure how. Because I think that he had, had a part to do with Sullivan becoming captain there, and now he's super regretting it. And he's almost going to, sabotage somehow, some way, because he still thinks that it's his station.
He wants to way back in.
Yeah, so I think that might happen. I think there's going to be some type of romantic situation with Maggie, but I don't think it might not be Dean. I don't think it's Dean. I think it's going to be DeLuca for some reason as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I want Dean and Maggie.
Yeah, that would be good. So maybe, but I think we need a love triangle, and because it's not going to be Jack, Ryan, and Andy anymore, we need a new one. And I know that we talk. Oh, it just came to me. So we have Vic, right, and we have Ben, and we'll have DeLuca.
Yes.
I think that will be the triangle, and then with Maggie. If her boyfriend ever comes back, maybe him and Dean. So that we have two options with 3 triangles. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that those things can happen. It's possible.
Maybe the guy from Station 23.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Let's
one.
throw him in the mix, too.
Station 23, DeLuca, and Vic.
There you go.
Yep, that's another one. Yep, anything.
Anything is possible in this show, for sure. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love this show, and we love you guys. If you want to continue the conversation, please do. I'm all across social media as Linda is so girly.
All across social media at Karla L. Contreras.
Awesome. Guys, till next week, we'll see you later. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.